Hi there and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. The Premier League game in which Jurrien Timber could make his Arsenal return. Jurrien Timber looked as though he could have been one of the signings of the summer when he joined Arsenal. The Dutch defender was absolutely fantastic in the pre-season, and an incredible performance in the Community Shield had many Gunners supporters drooling. However, unfortunately, Timber was injured in his Premier League debut against Nottingham Forest, and he's not been seen since. There have been some whispers around Timber potentially returning soon, and speaking on KS1 TV, Steve Kay has shared an update on the defender's fitness. Kay says that Timber should be back in full training next month, while he's heard some people say that he's being earmarked for a return to action against Newcastle United in late February. Kay shared what he knows about the defender. He said, "Yeah, he should be back in full training next month, and I did hear some people say that he's been earmarked for the Newcastle game, which is at the end of February. We could see him then. I don't think you will see him until then, but hopefully, if we are still in the title race, he will be available for the last 10 games of the season and the run-in. This will be a real boost for Arsenal. The Gunners' title challenge fell away towards the end of last season due to a lack of defensive depth, but this time around it could be an opposite situation. Indeed, Timber is an ultra-versatile player, and his return will give Arsenal so many more options at the back. If Arsenal are still within touching distance of the title at that point, then Timber's return could give them the boost they need to kick on once more and reach the summit of the Premier League come the business end of the season. Arsenal player has just rejected a transfer offer. He wants to stay now. Arsenal star Jorginho has received a transfer offer to leave the Emirates, but he has turned it down. We are 25 days into the January transfer window, and Arsenal are yet to make any moves. They haven't signed a player yet, nor have they sold anyone. Jorginho could have been the first one to go, but the Italian has turned down an offer this week. Arsenal signed Jorginho from Chelsea on a transfer deadline day last January. Gunners supporters weren't too keen on the Italian back then, but he has been fantastic for the North Londoners almost every time he has played over the last 12 months. However, Declan Rice's arrival in the summer pushed Jorginho further down the pecking order at Arsenal, and he has started just 4 games in the Premier League all season. Trabzonspor noticed an opportunity, and journalist Hassan Tansel of Sports Digital revealed this week that the Super League side made contact with Jorginho over a move this month. The amazing Arsenal midfielder, however, has rejected Trabzonspor, and he is now set to remain at the Emirates until the end of the season. Tansel tweeted, "Trabzonspor made contact for Jorginho, but the player did not accept." Jorginho's current contract at Arsenal expires in the summer, but Arsenal have an option to extend that by another 12 months. Jorginho was definitely not everyone's cup of tea when Arsenal signed him last year, but he has produced a number of top-level performances. The Italian's experience and leadership skills are extremely important to this Arsenal side, and he showed against Crystal Palace last weekend that he can still produce the goods on the pitch too. Arsenal should be happy that Jorginho rejected a move away from the Emirates. He will be key for them in the remainder of the season, both on and off the pitch. It will be interesting to see what Mikel Arteta will do with Jorginho in the summer. We think it's a no-brainer to keep him at the club by extending his contract. Pundit says 22-year-old Arsenal star needs a reality check from Mikel Arteta. Anton Ferdinand has suggested that Mikel Arteta may need to seriously consider dropping Bukayo Saka to give the Arsenal youngster something of a reality check. Bukayo Saka remains Arsenal's leading goal scorer and assist provider in the Premier League this season. However, he has been largely disappointing of late. The 22-year-old has scored just 1 goal and not provided an assist in his last 7 appearances for the Gunners in all competitions. He has not been as influential or impressive this season, and speaking on the take on Anton Ferdinand suggested that the time has come for Mikel Arteta to take him out of the firing line. He said, "In terms of Saka, sometimes as footballers, and I have been there, sometimes you need a kick up the bum, but whether you have one or not, he is on a rut right now. Sometimes it might be come out because you are not good enough right now. It gives him a reality check. I need to up my game again because he is still young, by the way. He is young, so young players need that as long as it's done to them in the right way and they are dealt with properly after it. They need that. I think Saka is in need of that right now." Saka has played a remarkable amount of football in the early stages of his career. He has already made more than 200 appearances for Arsenal in all competitions, while he has 32 caps for his country. It was inevitable that his form was going to drop at some stage. It's also probably fair to say that teams have now got a better idea of how they think they should play against Saka. Ultimately, Arteta has to do what is best for Arsenal in their Premier League title push, and if Saka's form does not improve in the near future, he may have to seriously consider giving him a rest. Fabrizio Romano has confirmed Arsenal really appreciate highly rated midfielder. Real Sociedad midfielder Martin Zubimendi is a player that Arsenal are interested in signing, although a January transfer window deal could be difficult. Transfer specialist Fabrizio Romano has revealed to Give Me Sport that sealing a deal in the January window may be difficult. In conversation with Give Me Sport, Romano said the following: "Zubimendi is a player that is really appreciated for sure, but I would also include Bayern Munich in the shortlist of clubs interested in Zubimendi for the summer transfer window. In January, it's really complicated because of the cost of the deal, which is around 60 million euros, the value of the release clause for Zubimendi, but it's also complicated on a personal point of view for Zubimendi because he is a big Real Sociedad fan, not just a fantastic player. He wants to keep going with the club, especially with this big opportunity to play in the round of 16 of the Champions League." With a £52 million release clause in his contract, the 24-year-old star might be a great addition to any midfield that needs some poise and control. Fabrizio Romano says unbelievable player is now training alone amid Arsenal rumours. "It feels like we have jumped in a time machine and gone back 10 years as Karim Benzema is being linked with Arsenal. The Gunners were linked with Benzema throughout the early 2010 and now 10 years on, the North London club are again being linked with a move for the Frenchman. Arsenal need a striker through the door who can find the back of the net on a regular basis, and Benzema certainly ticks that box. Arsenal are said to be keen on Benzema, and it sounds as though the Frenchman could depart in the near future." Speaking on the Man in a Blazers podcast, Fabrizio Romano has shared an update on Benzema's situation, and he says that the attacker is far from happy at Al-Ittihad, claiming that the striker is actually training alone at the moment. Romano shared what he knows about the unbelievable attacker. He said, "Karim returned to training with Al-Ittihad. He is regularly training now with the squad, but not with the rest of the group. He is training by himself, I'm told. He is training alone." It's a very tense situation between Benzema, people at the club, the manager. They are not happy at all with the current situation. There is very rarely any coming back from a situation like this. Benzema looks like he is completely fallen out with his current club, and when that happens, it usually spells the end of a player at any given club. Of course, whether or not Arsenal make a move for Benzema remains to be seen, but the fact of the matter is that the player himself does need a move before the January window closes. This is certainly a situation to keep an eye on right up until deadline day, as it looks as though Benzema is very unhappy at the moment. Mikel Arteta has been really impressed by 20-year-old. Arsenal have now stepped up their interest. A report has shared what Mikel Arteta has made of Xavi Simons, with Arsenal considering a move for the winger. In the summer transfer window, Xavi Simons has been outstanding for RB Leipzig this season, scoring 5 goals and contributing 7 assists in the Bundesliga. Arsenal are looking to sign another wide forward, and it seems that they may look to make that move at the end of the season. According to a report from Football Transfers, Pedro Neto is Arsenal's top target in that position. However, with Manchester City also eyeing Neto, Arsenal are keeping their options open, and according to the report, the Gunners are stepping up their interest in Simons. In fact, the report claims that Mikel Arteta has been really impressed by what he has seen from the youngster, who only returned to Paris Saint-Germain during the summer. Simons looks to have an amazing future ahead of him. The 20-year-old scored 22 goals and contributed 12 assists in 48 games for PSV Eindhoven in all competitions, and he has continued that form now that he is in Germany. He is yet to really prove himself at Parc des Princes, but you would imagine that they will have a pathway marked out for his future should he stick around. So he could be an incredibly exciting signing for Arsenal if the Gunners did decide to make a move and manage it to secure his signature. Arsenal definitely need further cover for Bukayo Saka. Reece Nelson has unfortunately failed to put genuine pressure on Saka, which is understandable, but that has meant that the 22-year-old has started to struggle as so much has been demanded of him. Simons' form for PSV and Leipzig suggests that he could step into that role, but he can also play on the left-hand side, so there would also be the potential for him to play in the same side as Saka. David Ornstein names the signing Arsenal could still make this month. Arsenal have been so quiet during this January transfer window. The Gunners have been linked with a number of potential signings, but the North London club are yet to make an actual move this month. With it just a week until deadline day, Arsenal will need to hurry up if they want to get any business done this month. So, will Arsenal get anything done in this final week of the window? Well, according to David Ornstein, speaking on the Sky Sports Transfer Talk podcast, there is one potential signing that is still possible. Indeed, according to Ornstein, there could still be a further defensive addition at Arsenal this month if the right opportunity presents itself. Ornstein shared his verdict on what Arsenal could do. This is where you say no and then something happens and you look stupid and become the laughing stock. I'm not aware of significant developments towards a deal before the end of the market. There is a possibility of defensive reinforcement. That would be a reactive move to things happening in the market and Mikel Arteta deciding they need more cover in the defense and the right opportunity arising and the terms of the deal being acceptable. They are looking at players, but anything like that is in its infancy and there is a good chance it won't happen. Arsenal could still sign a defender this month, but we have to question whether or not this is actually a necessary signing. With Jurrien Timber set to return soon, the Gunners do have plenty of quality cover at the back, and an attacking or a midfield signing may be more important at this point. Of course, Mikel Arteta will know the needs of his squad better than we do, but we can't quite get on board with the idea that Arsenal need more defenders heading into the business end of the season. Arsenal told they'd only have to pay £18 million to sign an unbelievable striker this week. Perhaps a big opportunity has now arisen for Mikel Arteta and Arsenal in their pursuit of a striker this month. According to the Standard, Arsenal have now been alerted to Wilson's availability in the final week of the transfer window. Via this new information, 31-year-old Wilson could be available for as little as £18 million before January ends. The report says that both Chelsea and Manchester United have also been alerted to Wilson's availability, and whilst a move for the striker may divide opinion among Arsenal fans, it's certainly one to consider. Despite suffering with injury this season, Wilson has more Premier League goals than anyone in Arteta's Arsenal squad. The Newcastle frontman has scored 7 in 14 games, with Bukayo Saka's 6 in 20, the highest tally at the Emirates. There is certainly no doubt that Wilson does know where the goal is, and he would be an upgrade on Edin Ketaya, but does Wilson have the fitness record to justify a move led by short-term thinking? Is it realistic to think Wilson can play enough of the remaining games? Either way, it's certainly one for Arsenal to consider this month, given how rare it is to achieve good value for a striker in January. If Wilson did arrive, that would surely mean that Nketiah would have to seek a loan move this month. Gabriel Jesus is going nowhere, and Arteta can't carry 3 strikers for the run-in. Of course, a move for Wilson this month could also compromise Arsenal's new summer plans. As we wrap up today's Arsenal news, remember to stay tuned for daily updates right here on the channel. Don't miss out on the latest updates, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you found this information valuable. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.